Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life.
And Professor Sunreis Productions!
Hello everyone, Professor Sunreis here. In today's class we're gonna take a look at another replay of post-boat virtual world action. And this replay we're gonna play against a very funky Tearelement list, which I felt like was, first of all, it was an insane game, and second of all, it feels like it represents Tearelement quite good right now, because at least out of what I am seeing, the lists are all over the place. There's some pure lists, there's some hero lists, there's some punk lists. So the deck is like still in an early shoot. So it is in its infancy, but that's like where, in my opinion, where the coolest part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just taking a look at all the potential lists and seeing which one works best. So without further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave some feedback down below, and let's get right into the replay. So here we are in the replay. We are playing against 1112223 with 980 38 rating. We win the rock, paper, scissors. Let's take a look at the opening hand here. We have Emergency Teleport, the Almond Snow, Emergency Teleport, Lao. By the way, we did switch up the list. This is a list which incorporates the Rave engine. I've just tested with it a little, and I maybe even like it more just because the Rave engine gives so much needed power going second. And I figured I was playing over 40, but so far in testing this list, being over 40 did not really hurt the consistency. I didn't do the math yet, which I'm of course gonna do so I can compare it and then evaluate afterwards if the loss in consistency is probably gonna be like 1, 2, 3% in seeing a virtual name is worth it. The extra Brave engine, which of course is really good. I did this change after playing against Exorcisters, which is an insanely hard matchup, especially how this deck is built, because we don't play any hand traps. The bot breakers don't really do a lot against Exorcisters, and they do like 2 to 3 banishers a turn, which of course is super hard for virtual to play through. But let's just talk about the replay. Remember that hard drawing the Almond is not really what we want to do here. The opponent is on Emergency Teleport, Fume, or Reaper, let's call him Reaper, Therion, Colosseum, Miru, and Regulus. So this is P.U.N.K, Tearelements, Therion list. Very interesting deck, of course. So let's get into the gameplay actually. We decide to start with the Almond, of course, having both the Almond and E-Teleport in the hand. Usually if you don't play Brave, you're always gonna feel very good normal summing this, but here it is fine. We don't hard draw Brave, so we can just skip the Beatrice part and just not play the Brave engine, use the Almond as a good starter. We are definitely fine with hard drawing it. By the way, the opponent doesn't have any hand traps, so we get to play here for free. We use the Foxy tune, pitching the Snow, of course, summoning Diana from the deck. And from here on out, we can just start playing the P.U.N.K engine completely out. Chaining 1 Dragon Drive, pay 600, feel great. Chaining 2 Deer Note, of course, target Foxy. Getting the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord to our field is very nice. Getting early installation from hand traps before we committing to anything, basically. Now we activate Emergency Teleport. Summon Neon. Lulu on the Neon. Sadly, we do have to go for Qinglong to grave, Choo-Choo to hand here, because if we did it the other way around, we would have had to use Lao early on, which we could have done. Now that I think about it, but it probably would have been bad. We don't really in a 55 card deck, we didn't really feel the need to play around multiple hand traps, and just having that one Photon Lord, in my opinion, made me feel good enough that I can just play it out safely, just because I have that extra hand trap protection, of course. So Qinglong at GG, pitch the Emergency Teleport. I've thought about adding a Lao here, not a Lao, a Lily. Okay, 3 sneezes in a row, and now we're Gucci. So we decided to add GG here just because the add back is just way too important, and even though it could have given us a different extension route, I just wanted to play it like this. We sent the Janhu to the graveyard, synchro into a Coral Dragon, and then we use Lao on the GG, sending Qinglong, so we have everything apart from Choo-Choo in the graveyard, summoning Lulu, and then we synchro those guys off into a Charge Warrior, draw 1. We draw the Enchantress. Of course, we could have gone for a Baron route here and then go for Beatrice and send an Enchantress. But that, in my opinion, felt not an Enchantress, sent a Scythe, and we could have still Scythe locked. But this is why I like the Crystal Wing package, just because it gives me the ability to have like a different route of game. Especially now with Enhatron Scythe. I think actually with Enhatron Scythe, going for a Baron here is actually the play, just because it doesn't commit nearly as much. So we set the Chucha, activate the Crystal Wing, activate the Talking Tower on the Crystal Wing, so now we have insulation of around basically everything. And now we can use the John Woo to revive either GG and then summon Nian, or just summon the GG. But we will use the John Woo to just summon the GG. Pitching Enchantress, we will not go for a Scythe, just because it commits a little bit too much. And having Photon Lord, Shen, Crystal Wing, Chucha, Snow is like a shit ton of disruption. Only thing which could hurt us here is to drop it for 3, and then we still would have had 2 disruption. The Dark Ruler would hurt, but then we still had 2 disruption plus insane follow-up in the form of GG at back, Brave Engine in hand, 1 free discard. So I felt pretty safe about that. The opponent draws King of the Swamp Imp, so they're also on that engine, so they are playing polymerizations in their hand. This is an insane gassy hand. Of course, a Scythe would have been an auto-win here, but we don't know what we're playing against, and especially with no hand traps, I kind of want to prepare myself for 1 or 2 board breakers, so I feel like it was the perfect route to go for. And I also put emphasis on the Shen just because we are playing against a pile deck, which is 99% of the time going to play a P.U.N.K engine, and Shen, of course, is probably the best application Shen has right now into the meta is against the P.U.N.K engine, just because you don't really have to negate the Armor, you don't have to negate the Foxy Tune, so you don't run into the multiples. If they draw them, you can just wait until they go for the Pepega Ruler and then put your first disruption onto that. So the Armor effect, pay 600, get the Foxy Tune. Then the opponent, let's see what they do here. Let's fast forward a bit. They're gonna use Foxy Tune, pitch the Reaper. At this point, I was like, oh, okay, now it's kind of iffy that we didn't get the Foxy Tune, but of course, you don't expect that. Summon Node, activate Colosseum. Colosseum is an insane card. I really like just putting the Chucha on it because it is a very annoying card to deal with just because it is a searcher, but most importantly, it also gives the opponent the ability to get into the Tearelement engine otherwise, because if a monster would be destroyed, you can send 1 Tearelement card or 1 Endless Engine to the graveyard, and once per turn when a monster is destroyed, they can add back a Tearelement. So in theory, they could here, because these cards don't actually do a lot, they could crash once, protect, send, and then crash a second time, not protect, add back, and that way they could go into the Tearelement plays. Of course, they could they have that Hard Run King Regulus, but of course we don't know that, so in my opinion, just putting the Chucha on here is the safest bet, not only getting rid of the immediate surge, but also the ability to take the battle phase as a resource generation tool. And also in a grind game, it's going to be very annoying, so getting rid of a Colosseum early is, in my opinion, correct. Now they activate Regulus. Of course, we always did this in mind with, okay, they have 3 cards in hand. If they have a Heartron Ethereum, we still have a Photon Lord, we still have a Crystal Wing, we still have a Snow, so we should be fine. And they have 3 cards. These don't really do a lot. They just take 1 negate to get rid of. We thought about Crystal Wing this just to get rid of the Pepega Ruler. And then if they activate 1 Regulus, we can negate it with that. Then they would need another name, another Theron in hand, which of course would be annoying, but we still would have had Snow against that. And then they would still need another gassy card to play. So we have these covered with Crystal Wing, we have 1 Theron covered with Photon Lord, or 1 play in general, and then we have another play with Snow. They have 3 cards in hand, we got 2 covered, so they need another good card to actually play. So that all the hand must be all gassed for them to be able to play. So we negate the Regulus. with the Photon Lord, like I said. Then the opponent is gonna do a big thing, but I think that's it from now. Yeah, there's no way the opponent's gonna win from that here. So game 2, we are forced to go second. Our opening hand is Droplet, GG, Kowloon, DD Crow, Prosperity. Pretty gassy. The opponent, we decided to add in the DD Crow just because we didn't know that it was Tearelements yet. I just wanted everything going second available to me, and it was just better than having. I figured what I was citing out. I think I cited out the virtual world trap for that. I felt like it was just way better to have a Crow than just potentially hard trying a virtual trap. And the opponent is an emergency teleport, Hoffins, Rhinoheart, Fume, and Engine. Of course, also a very good hand. They start out with an Engine. I'm sorry for my voice right now. I had a sneeze attack early on, and now my nose is all stuffy. Anyways, they sent the Lily, use the Fume on that, or the Reaper. Reaper effect, substitute Lily, search Colosseum effect, search Regulus effect, equip Lily probably. Yes, so now they have their hand trap protection, of course. And now they use emergency teleport. This hand is so insane, holy fucking shit. Emergency teleport, pay 600, get Ogre Dance. Why did they go for an Ogre Dance here? Effect over Ogre Dance, go for Sharkuzai, because they didn't want to use their discard they had. I guess it makes sense. They have a Rhinoheart which they can normal, then the Huffins as like a hand trap maybe in my turn, or depending on how the routes work, they use it as an extender later on because they don't want it in the grave right now. Anyways, go for the Rising card with the Sharkuzai. Of course, you go through the Ogre Dance first because you want to have a Dark Engrave and get some decks didn't go in. Rising card from the deck summons the Almond and Deer Note, which of course be turned into a Pepegarula. So Pepegarula mill 5, Deer Note, target Sharkuzai. This gives the ability for a quick synchro in the opponent's my turn. Mill 5, let's see what they hit. Foxy Tune, Snow, Fusion Substitute, and Mayru is an insane mill. They just went +3 of that. They got a Foxy Tune to hand, and then they trigger these 3. Or not trigger, but they have like, oh my god, it's so annoying. Why didn't they add 1, 2, 3? Do you have to add? I think they forgot to add a Foxy Tune there. Miru effect trigger, getting rid of the Rising card, which is also probably why they went for that route, just so that they have a Fusion engraved, so they can go for Dracos Tepelia. And now Pepegarula and... Oh, they left the Foxy Tune in there because they didn't have a light target. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Effect Hulky Fibrax. Hulky Fibrax summons probably the Shadow. Yes, the Falco. And then Pepegarula resummon itself, go into Fleur, and that's a pretty formidable board. Of course, the Falco shouldn't be banished. Of course, it is very susceptible to a Droplet, but it's like a very good board. It's very robust. It has a lot of follow-up. We draw for turn in Enchantress, which is probably the nuttiest draw which we could have asked for. So here we are thinking, I am still not 100% sure how to use Prosperity in this deck. My thought process is going first, I only really want to use it after I get hand trapped and I can't extend anymore. Or of course, if I don't draw playable, I will just activate it as soon as possible. Going second, otherwise, getting a Lava Golem here, getting a Dark Ruler would be really good, so I felt like using it immediately should be the correct play. If you have a different take on that, definitely let me know in the comments. I am still very new to Prosperity in Virtual World, of course, so I haven't figured it out yet, but going second, it should be fine. Even though we do have a Droplet here, I feel like it should be okay. We do side out the P.U.N.K engine, of course. Going second just because, in my opinion, it is too susceptible to hand traps. You will never resolve it going second. So we have three free banishes. Then we have the 2 draw guys, so that's also free. Also, by the way, you should not banish a Juju. I misclicked on that, and I noticed it way too late, and I didn't want to take it back afterwards because it was like such a good game. So the opponent is gonna prosperity this. Of course, you should probably get rid of one part of the Crystal Wing package and then recycle that one part with Neon, because going second a Break Sword is Zeus, of course, come up way too much. So just getting rid of one part of the Crystal Wing package is probably the safest bet. So now we chain Droplet on the prosperity, getting rid of Crow and prosperity. We thought about getting the DD Crow here, but Drac of Stapelia is not really the disruption against us. And Hulky Fibrex, I did not really put a lot of value on. I thought, okay, they could maybe go into a Synchro 10, but then they would have to get rid of Regulus or Drac of Stapelia. With the Brave Engine, we can force out the Drac of Stapelia quite early. So in my opinion, it felt correct to keep it that way. Think on more here, like I said, but at 2, so we get rid of the 2 Omni Negates, Mill 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is the Dark Ruler, but it's just a little too late because we get rid of most of the opponent's board already. So we take the Lulu here, just so we have insulation against a potential hand trap, of course, because we still kind of die to like 1 Ash here. If the Enchantress gets ashed, we are in a struggle. So activate Enchantress. Of course, this is why I love Enchantress on 3 and Ride on 1 in this list. Not only because Virtual doesn't make good use of the Brave Engine in multiples, but mostly because Enchantress is the only droplet target we have, which is just a free pitch of a monster into the graveyard, which is so broken. So now we have 5 cards in hand, and the opponent, we got rid of 2 cards of the opponent. Like 2 Omni Negates, so that's pretty good. We used DD Crow here on the snow. I don't know why I threw it out there right now. It's probably because my girlfriend was telling me we had to pay 300 more euros of rent for the energy cost because of fucking war in the Ukraine. So probably it was because I was in fucking shock, and I thought, oh, maybe I have to pay, get rid of some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Was straight coping. Anyways, Crow here on snow is just dumb. We just wait until they chain the snow. In hindsight, it might have saved me, just because the way that Changing works and then being able to banish for cost could have been something. So maybe I'm just a genius. The opponent, we decide to activate the right here, of course, to get rid of the Drac of Stapelia / the Hulky Fibrex to get rid of the last known disruption. We do activate a Kowloon here, just because we have the ability to play around a hand trap. I wanted to commit a little bit to the board and didn't want to discard any of the virtual worlds for the Griffin Surge, so I decided to play it like that. In hindsight, I probably... No. In hindsight, we always needed to commit there, because we want to use 1 discard for the Qinglong Surge and 1 for the Fateful, and getting that 1 Surge early on is quite important, because we will have to commit to the virtual world anyways. So the opponent is going to use the Formula Synchron here, making it so that we can actually use our Fateful Adventure Surge, so that way we don't have to commit a virtual world yet. So now we can activate Adventure, search Griffin Rider, and the opponent also draws a Dark Ruler, which does nothing here, at least for now. Pitch Draco Bag, effect Draco Bag. We don't chain Griffin here just because Drac of Stapelia could negate it, and then it's at level 1, and we don't want that to happen because we can always extend with the Griffin Rider. Drac of Stapelia onto Draco Bag onto Drac of Stapelia, chain Formula Synchron, so now they turn this into a Changing. We're like, okay, that's fine. We have a Griffin Rider. Effect Griffin Rider. Now the opponent is on no known disruptions apart from the Changing, which we can somewhat play around. Now we use Lulu on the Chucha. Of course, very good. Always like to see that. Send Qinglong at Lily at this point. It doesn't really matter what we add here. We just added the Lily because we want to use Qinglong, get rid of that. And then have a Lao Lao. We could have also added the Lao Lao and then used the Qinglong to just pitch either Nian or a Lily. It doesn't really matter, but we're not gonna use it here. We also side out a few of the traps, so we don't even have that much or that many utility targets to send with Lily. And Lao Lao and GG are of course way better. So we use Qinglong here. The opponent is gonna chain Changing. we are not chaining Griffin here. Yeah, we are chaining Griffin. Of course, it happens on resolve. That's why we waited. We wanted to resolve it probably. Now the opponent has the first opportunity to send the Hoffins. Hoffins effect is gonna trigger Mill 3, Rhinoheart, Shaylin, and the field spell. So that's a pretty good mill. They cannot use the Rhinoheart, but they can use the Shaylin to summon. I think they. What are they gonna go for here? Oh, they go for the Kaleidohard. Effect Kaleidohard on summon can get shuffle back one monster of ours. So they get rid of the Lulu, and from here on out, I thought, okay, they will probably not have an Omni, not the disruption. They probably would have come out already. So from here on out, I felt like I can OTK them. I did the math here because Changing is gonna be insanely big. We have a 2-chip pop to get rid of the Colosseum, so we can start to run over stuff. These are half by droplets, so they are very low. And with the Changing out, they're gonna be even lower. We have a way to trigger our own Changing with the Neon. So from this on, it's all just cleanup time. We summon Lao Lao on the Chuchas, send a Neon, summon Lily, and then we GG on the Chuchas, send a Quinglong probably for follow-up. If something might happen. Yeah, we sent a Quinglong. Summon Neon here. And here, Juju would have come up earlier, but here Juju definitely would have come up just to get, just make the OTK that much cleaner. But we didn't have it. So of course we cannot go for it, but it was fine, because now we go for a Changing. Neon and Lily go for Shen, just because getting rid of banishing the opponent's monsters gives us a little more damage overall. Like I said, a Juju would have been way better, so Neon and Gigi go into Juju, get rid of one, and then go into an M7. Could have even summoned another Lily then, getting even more damage on board. Juju just would have been better. We probably couldn't have gone GG because we needed to banish that. But overall, it just would have been way better. So now, Changing effect, because Neon was triggered, chaining 2 Neon. I think we recycle one. I don't even know what we recycled there. We recycled the Juju. It's a little late, but we got it back. Guys, trust. Not Changing triggers, we think here a little, but just making sure the OTK works, but we always gotta get rid of the Changing, and then I think banishing the engine is just the safest follow-up tool they have, if still, like I said, something happens here, which probably shouldn't. And now we get rid of the Colosseum, so we can actually run over stuff, and they cannot protect from battle. Getting rid of recycling Kringle and Neon, and getting more banishes into the pool. And now we can just attack everything for free. There are 15 cards banished, so they lose 15 attack. They are at 1/4, so they had 0 attack because of the droplet. They had 1 at half, and then they lose 15. So GG runs in for 1k there. 1k damage, and then Shen on that. It might have been a misplay to recycle here, just because it is a misplay to recycle here, just because Chengyin can also recycle with an effect. Shen triggers on any attack, so that's just 100 attack which we are missing, but the math is fine. We will not lose because of that. So they are at 0, that's 2.8, and now Chengyin attack onto the Kaleidohar. They have 11 here, we have 5 there, so that's 1/6. So this is at 1/4, and we are at 4/6, so that's 3.2k damage, and that is OTK through that board, which felt very insane. And I just noticed that we were under prosperity, though the opponent's damage would have been halved. Well, that is a little bit awkward, because I definitely shouldn't have been able to OTK here. Well, good thing I just noticed that. But overall, it probably would have changed a lot. Yeah, they would have had a Dark Ruler, so we didn't have any disruption. Fusion Substitute giving them 1 draw. Definitely interesting. But I probably could have gotten rid of everything they had. No, the Reaper's gonna stick there, but it's not gonna do a lot. And they just have 1 Kaleido Heart plus a draw 1. Definitely would have been an interesting one. Now I'm very sad that I missed this. Not only because it's kind of like cheating, but also because it could have been a very interesting game with them dark ruling my board, and then getting into the Tearelements engine and probably doing quite a good work. But then again, we had a GG Adback, we had a Queen Long, we had an Enchantress Engrave, we had a Shenshin on the field, so we also had a lot of follow-up. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a very insane game. Just got slightly less insane just because of my misplay and not remembering the Pot of Prosperity, but misplays do happen. At least now I notice it in the replay and not when you guys are telling me in the comments. So don't forget to like and subscribe like always. Leave some feedback down below. I hope you guys are enjoying this post-Pote virtual world adventure we're having on this channel. I am enjoying the deck building process so much. This is by far my most favorite part about Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory crafting, deck list, analyzing, doing analysis on the matter, stuff like that. You guys know it. Professor Sunreis out. Peace.